Hello, everyone, and welcome to Evolve Yourself TV. I am Agni James.
And I'm Danielle Johnson.
She's a Dr. Danielle Johnson, just to make clear, just so everyone knows.
It's
All
fine.
right.
Danielle's fine.
So yeah, we're here today, and we have a great show, really great show for you all. We are gonna discuss natural kind philosophy, which is really neat, and then we're going to do a guided meditation, and we're gonna bring out Bozo the clown. Is Bozo still alive?
I don't think so.
No, he's not alive. Okay, we are not going to bring out Bozo the clown. We could bring. No, I'm not going to go dark. I'm not going to go dark today. Okay, but anyways, yeah. So it's good to see everyone. How is everyone doing on this glorious day?
I'm doing good.
You're doing good. All right. Well, yeah, I'm doing pretty good too. Today was one of those busy days for me. I do day trading and swing trading, and Tesla stock has been skyrocketing the last 2 days. It's up like about 11% or so in the last 2 days. So I was able to unload a bunch of shares of Tesla, which is pretty neat. So I unloaded a bunch of shares, made some money, and yeah, and now we have this amazing island adventure planned for the next few days. And yeah, do you want to hear about it? You want me to tell you about it? Well, see, I mean, Danielle's going to be with me, so basically, what the island is, it's an amazing place. I know a guy who owns a 15-acre island on the Rock River in Byron, Illinois, and for the last 10 years, every summer I rented out from him 1 or 2 weekends, and then a bunch of friends and I go out there and we camp out and just party basically for the entire weekend. And it's always a good time. It's always a lot of fun. So yeah, we're going to be doing that this weekend. We're all packed. We got nice and stressed out about it earlier today, and we got in some good arguments, which was fun.
It's like, stop talking to me.
Yeah, she literally just like that,
Stop!
just like that, and I was respectful of it, and I stopped talking, but yeah, that's kind of how it went down.
Sometimes your stories go on and on.
Me?
And on.
You're saying moi? I can be loquacious at times.
Yes.
I don't know about
It's like
that.
you could, in 2 sentences, you could have told me everything that you told me in 10 minutes.
I want there was some fleshed out content that I want. There was content that I wanted to flesh out a little bit more, right? I wanted to.
No value to any of that.
You're saying there was not any additional value. All right. Well, fair enough. But anyways, this island trip's going to be great. It's like Danielle's still very stressed lately. She's been having to put in a lot of extra hours at her job, and stress with other stuff too. So like they'll be good to get away, just to relax for the weekend. The trick. Now this is something important actually from a philosophical standpoint as well. When you're at a place like the island, when you're camping, there's always a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of like organizational things that need to be done. There's a lot of you have to set up your tent. You have to get all your stuff in order. Make sure if it rains, you have to make sure your stuff doesn't get wet. Yada yada yada, right? But you can still do it and maintain peace of mind if you use the techniques from meditation when you to regulate your breathing, to calm yourself. So that's something important to remember about that. But anyways, maybe we should just hop right into the meditation, or what do you think? Or not the meditation, the philosophy.
Sure.
Do you think we should start? Okay, so this is good. Let's talk a little bit about natural kind philosophy. So natural kind philosophy has been around a long time, ever since I believe Aristotle. Right? I think Aristotle was the first one who started who paved the way for natural kind philosophy. And the idea is that there are these objective X's in the world, these objective natural kinds, these kinds of things that exist independently of the human mind, such that if human beings did not exist in the world, there would still be these X's in the world. So there's a lot of different examples you can use of these natural kinds. Like you could say, all the tigers in the world, everything that is a tiger, it belongs to the set of all tigers, and then the set of natural kind tigers. You could also say elements, right? Everything that has one proton is going to be a hydrogen atom, right? If it has two protons, it's going to be a helium atom, right? So you could say like the set of all helium atoms, right, or the set of all elements. You could say that as well. So those are just some examples of natural kinds. Now, some people there used to be this thought that people wanted to break up the entire world into different natural kinds, and that would be carving nature at its joints. Now, when I say carving nature at its joints, I mean we'd be breaking up the world in a truthful fashion, as opposed to a fashion that is socially constructed, right? Because a lot of people could say, well, wait a minute, with natural kinds, is there really such a thing as a tiger that is different than such a thing as a lion? And most people would say, well, yeah, they're different species, right? But then someone could say, well, what about a tiger and a liger? Are those actually distinct, separate natural kinds, or are they of the same kind? And then the area starts getting a little blurry, right? It starts getting a little trickier, right? And then there's other examples too of natural kinds where the situation gets even more blurry. For instance, like if you ever look at like the set of all clouds that exists out there, it's pretty easy to know what a cloud is. Everyone, once you're like, 5 years old, you know what a cloud is. But if you see a couple clouds, and they kind of merge together for a second, then do you have two distinct clouds? Do you have one cloud? What do you have? So the lines can get blurry, and between the socially constructed notion of what a kind is and the objective reality of what a kind is. And another interesting thing, it even gets even more blurry when you think about what whether all of this is just socially constructed, because Immanuel Kant drew the distinction between the phenomenal world, which is the world of sensory experience, and the noumenal world, which is the world of things as they are in themselves. And that's actually the terminology he used, as things in themselves, right? So, and so he drew the distinction, saying, well, if humans didn't exist, they were just, or not if humans didn't exist, but he used the term, or the notion that if you have human beings perceiving the world through subjective sensory experience, then they're not seeing things as they actually are. What we're actually seeing when we look at the world is we're seeing a projection. We're seeing a representation of the world constructed from the processing power that we use from our brains. And that processing power is taking all the sensory data that we bring into us and as projecting it out in the world. So when you're looking at like the screen, or me and Danielle on the screen right now, you're not actually seeing Danielle and I as we actually are, or the screen as it actually is. What you're seeing is a low definition representation of what is actually there. In fact, one could argue that it's the incredibly low def representation, right? It's not actually what is there if you had all the processing power and data in the world, right? If you had all the data and processing power, what you would see would be the noumenal world, which would be the world as it actually is in itself, as Kant would say. So with natural kinds, it gets the issue gets very blurry, and it gets it's a complicated thing to think about. Yeah, that's just like the basics, the basic notions of natural kinds. And what do you think? What do you think about natural kinds and all that stuff?
So I came at this. So for those of you who have seen the streams before, I really love philosophy, and that's how we met. Is I just for fun took some philosophy classes, but I come at it a very different way, because mine is like very experiential. I thought about this stuff and experienced it, a lot of this stuff, before I came into like philosophy, to know what a natural kind even was, to know the definition of a natural kind. So how I kind of started thinking about these concepts was in psychology, there's something called functional fixedness. And so when so one thing I studied a lot of was creativity. And so when we give somebody a test to see how creative they are, one thing that researchers will test for is kind of functional fixedness. And one test of this is they'll give somebody like a box of matches and a thumbtack and a candle. And they'll say, hang this candle on the wall.
Okay.
And so how would you do that?
With a box of thumbtacks, a candle, and what else?
Oh, sorry, that's it. A box of thumbtacks.
Oh,
and
just a box of thumbtacks and
there might be one other thing. I feel
and
like
a candle.
Yeah.
I would. Let's see. I don't know. It depends on the thumbtacks. Like, what do they look like? Are they long? Do they have like a real long point? Or are they just the little thumbtacks? What about the candle? What's the dimensions?
It's like the candles you put here,
Like the
but the thumbtacks are like the ones with the round and then just a little point.
So you gotta hang the candle on the wall with thumbtacks. I don't know. I don't know, to be perfectly honest.
So you take the box of thumbtacks, you dump out the thumbtacks, you pin the box to the wall. And
you got the box. Yeah, nice.
So one way we test creativity is, can you adapt to things? Can you use things in ways that they might not be used for?
Yeah.
So this is a chair, you sit in it, right? That's the concept that we have of chair. But you could put two chairs together and sleep on them. You could use it as a ladder to change a light bulb. You could do all kinds of different stuff.
Oh, hey, Lily Lavender's here. Hey.
Hi, Lily.
Good to see you.
I haven't seen you in so long.
Yeah, welcome. We just got done discussing natural kind philosophy, and now Danielle's explaining some other things. So welcome to the stream.
Whoever doesn't know Lily Lavender should get to know Lily Lavender. She is amazing. She's just so sweet, and I love watching her. And she does cool art and cool cooking shows and gardens. Does all this gardening stuff. Yeah, she's like pretty multi-talented.
She's great. Definitely check out Lily Lavender. Every time I watch, but I will say this though, every time I watch her cooking, I always get super hungry, and then I end up raiding the fridge. So that's something to be careful about.
So we were talking about concepts, and natural kinds are like when you. So let me see if I understand this. Okay, so natural kinds is like we're trying to figure out what actually exists in nature.
Absolutely.
Like what are the bare, like if we go all the way down, like what are the things that are like for real?
Yeah, if human beings did not exist, what would there still be in the world? That's what like a natural kind is.
Okay.
What types of things?
Well, and so I really started thinking about how concepts are created in our brain. And I got it in my head that what I needed to do was release my concepts.
Yeah.
And so I started to try and loosen up my concepts, right? And try and, I don't know.
Just kind of expand your thinking.
Right. And I literally got to the place where I had no concepts for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But you can't, the problem with that is you can't live in a world where you don't accept any concepts, because then I couldn't talk to anybody. Like there was nothing exists. Like you don't have ideas. You don't have words.
You're just kind of in the state of like pure oneness if you don't have concepts. You're just in a state of like pure oneness, and you're one with everything. But you can't utilize the tools of this dualistic framework in order to understand, in order to communicate and do things in the world, right? And we want to do things, right, Lily? We want to cook, and we want to garden, and we want to do all sorts of stuff, right? There's a ton of cool things you can do in the phenomenal world, and we want to do those, but without concepts, it's going to be a little tricky.
Right. So But I still think that sometimes some of the problems that happen in the world are because we get too locked into our concepts, and we can't solve a problem because, oh, that's just a box to hold the tax. It's not a box to hang the candle.
Absolutely.
Or this person is this. Like, stereotypes are just concepts that we put on people and cling on to very tightly and hold them for a bunch of people. But the way you get rid of stereotypes is not, and a lot of people will talk about, well, they're kind of true sometimes, you know what I mean? But and all of our concepts are stereotypes in that way, like in a way, because we're saying, all chairs have a back and a seat,
features.
And you know what I mean?
So certain set of properties.
Right. So any natural kind or any distinction we want to make about different kinds, that's just technically a stereotype, right?
It is, unless there is this objective thing that would exist without human beings on the planet, right? Like if there was some if human beings didn't exist, like if the set of all tigers would still exist, then and if it was distinct from every other type of animal in that sense.
But I'm weird in the sense that I don't think natural kinds exist.
Yeah, and Danielle and I actually both agree with this. We both now, and we're kind of on the outskirts. Most people will say natural kinds do exist. We just haven't been able to use the philosophical tools that we have at our disposal to narrow in and adequately define these natural kinds, and that's why it's a little blurry. But Danielle and I, and there's a lot of physicists that actually agree with us as well, and philosophers of science that will agree with us as well, that are natural kind anti-realists, and we kind of leaned more towards the social constructionism view, basically.
So one of the things that I'm passionate about and part of my life is a theory that I'm working on. So when I was in grad school and going through all these things and releasing all my concepts, right, you start to see how things might be connected and the same once you are not saying like this is this and this is this, but seeing how they're actually one thing or related. That just changed my whole perspective when I looked at psychology. And so one of my passions is to unify the field of psychology under an overarching theory. And so that's what I spend a lot of my time working on and talking about and that kind of thing.
Just a little small task, in her side time, she's gonna unify, the major component of psychology, the whole field of psychology, but
they
small.
need a theory. Yeah. They talk about it all the time, like it's a big thing.
Yeah, and you know what they do? Psychology. Those of you who don't know, psychology is in kind of a state of mess. People don't really know what's going on. Everyone has different frameworks. There's no unified perspective that kind of just brings everyone together. Yeah, that is a task, Lily. It's totally a task. But Danielle, she's if there's anyone I've ever met in my life who could do it, Dr. Danielle Johnson right here is the one. She's adamant about this. She cares so much about it, and she devotes so much time. You love psychology. Awesome. Yeah. I have my undergrad in psychology, and she has her doctorate in psychology, and we love psychology too. We talk about it all the time. It's so interesting the way people interact with one another, and the different neuroses people have, and the different and positive psychology. And okay, this is more your field, though. I should let you.
If you ever want to talk about psychology, Lily, let us tell us what you want to talk about. We'll definitely do that up. Yeah. We can do all the topics. But yeah, so I'm working on this theory, and so the theory, one of kind of the main assumptions of it is that actually I would give us that there's one natural kind, and it's if you're a physicist, it's the singularity at the beginning, right? Oh, hi, JT Farms.
Hey, JT Farms is here.
We missed you.
Yeah, we're talking about natural kind philosophy, and now Danielle's talking about a theory that she's been working on for unification of psychology and other things.
Oh, okay. I've been getting into that a lot. So, my day job is in the Department of Juvenile Justice, so I've been looking at a lot of trauma stuff lately because a lot of those kids have been through a lot of trauma.
Yeah. Interesting, huh? You study trauma. Yeah, it's, you know what? I think that's a really interesting thought, Lily. If you do understand trauma, you can understand much of why people act in the ways they do, and that's something that Danielle and I are always try to do. Whenever we see, like, let's say there's like a horrific act that's committed, or someone does something that's just kind of out of the ordinary. A lot of times we wonder, why did that person do that? What's going on inside that person that would make them do that given thing, right? And a lot of times you can look back at someone's past and you can be like, oh, well, that explains it. They had to experience this horrific experience, and it shaped and formed their concepts in such a way that they see the world, through a different lens, and that's why they acted in the way they do. So that's cool that you do the same thing for your own understanding of the world. Yeah, we're both trying to constantly increase our understanding of the world as well, through that kind of lens. So yeah.
Love and prayers to you, Lily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the theory that I'm working on would say that there's one natural kind, and like I said, if you're a physicist, you might call it the singularity, or you might call it God, or the noumenal world, or whatever. But just that everything else is just that initial thing cut up into different pieces.
Absolutely.
And those pieces don't really exist except for depending on how we decide to cut them up.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like, I'm not saying planets don't exist. I'm just saying that they're not, like, cells exist in my body. Mm-hmm. So cells would be what I am more than, like, a human in the natural kind world, right?
Yeah. And philosophers like to use the term carving nature at its joints. And what they mean by that is that there are these predefined ways to carve up things, to carve up different objects and different things in the world, and that these are objective standards. These are things that will hold. These ways of carving up reality are things that will hold regardless of subjective experience, regardless of whether humanity is here. So they'll say stuff like, oh, well, that chair is definitely a chair and exists and has the following properties. It has hardness. It's made of wood. It has the following dimensions, and then they'll just list off all the properties of the chair, and then they can list off properties of other chairs that have other things that are called chairs that have the same properties. And they'll say these are things that exist, they're mind independent, and they exist in the world, and so therefore there's a kind of thing called a chair that exists.
And again, I don't have to deny chairs, mm-hmm. but I just think that chairs are part of the other thing.
Absolutely, yeah. And like the example I was giving off earlier, where if you have two clouds up in the sky, you can say, oh, look, I see both of those clouds. Wait, there you go. I see both of those clouds, right? And they're floating up there in the sky, right? And you can clearly see, where one cloud is and where the other one is. But then if they come close to each other and they merge, such that one cloud actually starts going into the other cloud, then you actually start having more questions about whether there actually are two clouds here or whether there's one, right? Because, like, what if the clouds touch a little bit, right? Do you still have two distinct clouds, or is there just one cloud? I mean, Willie and JT, what do you think about this? Or anyone, what? It's kind of interesting, right? This is a question that the whole world of philosophy has been debating on over thousands of years since Plato, actually, I believe. I don't know if the pre-Socratics talked about it much, but I know Plato discussed it a little bit. But I'm sorry. Anyways,
I think I'm.
Oh, okay. Do you want to talk any more about the theory, or?
I mean, so it's a very grandiose goal, and I wouldn't even know where to start.
Okay. Oh, let's see. Everyone pictures a different chair in their mind. So what's the real concept of a chair? If it's difficult for objects, what about more abstract words? Yeah, it's amazing how we can communicate if each person has a different concept.
I say that all the time, Lily. So I teach communications to undergrads at a community college, and one thing that just, when you start learning about all the different biases and how our brains work and all that different stuff, and it's just like, I'm like, I can't believe people are always talking about, oh, we miscommunicate so much, we can't talk. I can't believe how much we actually can communicate because we're just so...
We're so different. We have all our concepts are going to be different. It's almost impossible for two people to have identical notions, identical concepts of any sort, right? Because think about it, we're raised from as a child, right? A baby points to something, and that baby's trying to figure out what the object of reference is, right? So and maybe asks the parent, by that pointing gesture, hey, what, that, what is that, right? And then the parent will say, oh, that's a truck, right? Let's say it's a blue truck, but what if the kid was actually trying to say, well, what is that color, right? And it was that was the actual question, right? So it's complicated. And that's kind of a bad example, but it's complicated.
So what do you mean by that, Lily? Like adapted to communicate wrong?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I need more water. Everyone is really talking about themselves, and we're listening and interpreting with our own experiences. Yeah. I can see that. Okay. Yeah. Take your time. Yeah. No worries.
I love how deep you're getting, Lily. This is awesome.
It's cool though. It's cool that you like these same kind of ideas and the same kind of philosophy. This is stuff that Danielle and I really, really dig, and we spend hours just
talk.
This is what we're doing. It's like, what are we doing tonight? Oh, we're going to talk philosophy for the next 3 hours. So we talk about this stuff. It's amazing because we all have different concepts in our mind, and the way we take those concepts and understand the world around us through those concepts and interact with other people is really intriguing, and it has intrigued philosophers for a long time, and not just philosophers, people in other disciplines as well, right? Communication, it's amazing that we can communicate at all, or like we were saying a minute ago.
Totally hard to write about these 10.
I know.
It's hard enough even to talk about them, but to try and then chat it, that's almost impossible. So totally get it. We'll come to your stream sometime and you can tell us what you think.
Then we'll be the ones in chat right? having to try to keep up, Okay, cool. So, anything more?
I'm super excited to talk to you guys about the theory in general. So I will let little parts of it out, I guess, on the streams.
Okay.
In
future streams? Cool.
It's like a teaser, right? People are like, we don't even really care.
Well, no, people, no. You know what? I think there's a lot of people out there that actually do care about philosophy more than we think, right? People get caught up in their day-to-day interactions. And when their day-to-day interactions and their day-to-day lives, we're busy, right? We have tons of stuff to do. But people still care about philosophy. Like I have a master's in philosophy, and I go and I talk to people all the time, in all different disciplines. Like I have a friend, Mark, who never went to any kind of has no formal education really. Didn't do much in that way. But he loves philosophy, and we sit around and we've talked philosophy before. So anyone can do it, and it's important too, because it gets you thinking about the big picture concepts, right? Some people just kind of get locked into a day-to-day structure, and they don't really ever spend time to think about the bigger picture of like the meaning of life, right? The meaning of existence. Where do we find purpose? How is our world divided? How is it divided into true concepts that exist independently of the mind? Is it not? Is science a valid way of understanding reality? There's all sorts of different big questions out there. There's ethical concerns, moral considerations, and people generally do have something to say. They have given some interesting insights given their own experiences, kind of like what you were talking about earlier, Lily, when you brought that up. So JT Farms, you care. Yeah, you do care about philosophy. Lily, JT Farms is an amazing poet, and everyone else out there, JT Farms is. I always promote her poetry. She's a phenomenal poet, and she's deep. She's really deep, and you can see her philosophy coming through in her poetry. And it's interesting too, because I remember JT Farms and I were talking at one point, and she said something like, "Well, when we talk about it, I just on the phone or whatever, I can't really articulate things as precisely as I want to." But in your poetry, you can see all your deep metaphysical notions presenting themselves. So I think that's cool that you're able to express yourself through that medium.
Wow, JT Farms. That's
Yeah. You
that
don't.
got me right here.
I will ever make up my mind about any
Oh,
life in general. Oh, but I am here as the observer. Yeah. Yep. Here as the observer. Absolutely. And that's kind. We all kind of are. Yeah, we are. We all kind of are here as observers, right? We're just trying to observe and see what's going on in the world. And you know what? As far as making up your mind, I mean, you know what? I don't have any. I don't have a single tattoo, even though there have been about 100 different tattoos I wanted in my life. And part of that is because I feel like I'm constantly changing, and like I'm a little concerned that the second I get a tattoo, 10 minutes later I'm not going to want it, right? So like in that sense, I'm the same way, and in a lot of other areas too. I try to refrain from making up my mind about things a lot of times. The reason being is because then it keeps your possibilities open. The more decisions you make, and the more you lock yourself in with choices, the less potential there is for future possibilities. But I'm a strong believer in the value of possibility, of having that possibility within, to be able to go in as many different directions as you possibly can. I think there's something inherently valuable with that. So I definitely get what you're saying, JT. Wow, I was rather loquacious there again.
No, you just take it, babe. Take it.
I keep talking a lot here. What's it, JT Frebs just saying? Well, if life isn't permanent, so is a tattoo permanent, really? Yeah, I know, and that's where I get hung up, right? I do get a little bit hung up still with the phenomenal noumenal distinction and all that. Yeah, is a tattoo? Oh, of course, a tattoo is not permanent. But I will say this. I will say one interesting thing. There have been cultures in the past that have believed that if you do something to your body, like let's say you have a scar right here on your arm, or like maybe you go blind, right? Like you get your eyes gouged out or something like horrible like that. That you will never be able to see again, even in the afterlife. There's cultures that believe there have been culture. Ancient Greece, they in that culture they believed that like if you got your eyes gouged out, that in the afterlife you wouldn't be able to see, and like things like that, you wouldn't be able to see your family.
Well, what would happen to you in the afterlife if you got a tattoo?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that, but I'm just I'm just trying to do broad strokes here, right?
You're off on a tangent like 18 miles away, dude.
Well, maybe.
She just dared you to get a tattoo.
Dare you ink yourself? I'm not going to get a tattoo.
How many
right
points
now.
do you have, JT?
Yeah. How many chat?
50,000 chat points, and Agni has to get a tattoo.
I did not consent to that. For the record, I did not. I did not agree to that. Okay. Oh wow, we got a good one from Lily. Let's see. Okay, so explaining what I said earlier, take the concept of love. Love is very personal, and each person will have a different concept of it. So if I talk about love to you, you will interpret something different than what I'm saying, because your concept of love is different than mine. You might be close to what I'm saying, but never the same. And that happens to everything. But our language seems well adapted to us getting only close. You're so right. Lily, you are a philosopher. You are totally a philosopher. That's exactly the kind of stuff that Danielle and I discuss all the time. Yeah, it's crazy. You're right. We can get close. And philosophy of language is in a state of crisis actually right now, because we don't really know how we denote any object of reference. Even things. Okay, it might seem easier with like something like a table or chair, but an abstract notion such as love or like humility or like what it means to live virtuously. We have no idea what that means. And the other crazy thing about that is that it varies. It varies through time and culture, right? So like what the ancient Greeks had, I believe, 7 different words for what love means. Like there was familial love, right? Love between your family members. There was love for like one's brother, not brother in the familial sense, but like if someone was like a really close friend of the person. There was love for like romantic love, right? And there were 7 different conceptions of love in ancient Greece. But now in at least in English, in American English, there's only one word, love, and that's just supposed to mean seven different things or many different things. Well, okay, maybe there's...
We just have different words now, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I get what you're saying, but I just feel like we have dating or friends with benefits.
Yeah,
or
you can say romantic love, yeah. But you can... Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's a fair thing.
But I take your point of yeah, exactly. So here's what I'm wondering, because we're getting pretty close to be able to connect my brain to your brain and talk back and forth to our brains.
Oh, through what? Through just wires?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I mean, right now, and this was probably at least 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. They can put signals on my brain.
Yeah.
Connect your arm to it, and I can make your hand move with my brain.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, that's a true thing.
That is awesome. That is really neat.
And they can do there was this one guy who I think he was paralyzed from the legs down. They connected his head to his leg, and he could kick again.
Whoa, really?
Uh-huh.
That's so
through
cool.
a wire, not through.
Yeah, and this is just we're in the infancy of this technology. I mean, give it 10 more years, it's going to be.
And they're starting to project record your dreams and project them onto a screen so you can come back and see what you dreamed.
You can record your dreams.
I mean, it's
in this
very very primitive right now. But what I'm saying is, we just learned how to fly 100 years ago, and now we're connecting brains to things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just feel I don't know. And so I wonder if that will still be the same as when we can all connect all of our brains together, then do we have the same concepts?
Ooh.
Do we have complete understanding? Or is the fact that, we have different bodies or I don't know,
That's a really good question. Yeah. Think about that.
What's that movie?
Strange Days.
Oh yeah.
Strange Days. In one of my favorite movies, Strange Days, people wore this squid receptor thing, it was called, and they would wear it on their head, and they would have like a recorder with them that would be attached to the squid receptor, and actually it was wireless, but anyways, they would have it with them, and it would record everything that they were seeing, but it wouldn't record just what they were seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting. It would record every single thing that they were feeling at the time. Imagine that, right? So you could record everything you felt in any given experience in your life, in any given time in your life. And then the rub of it is you could take that, give it to someone else, and then they could play back your experience. And they could experience exactly what you were experiencing, exactly what you were thinking, exactly what you were smelling, tasting, touching, feeling. I mean, imagine that, right?
Or you could have your memories, like the one guy had his memories, and he would relive his own memories of what he experienced.
Yeah, the main character, Ray Fiennes, he actually recorded some of his happiest moments, and then kind of got stuck in a loop where he would just play back his happy moments over and over again a lot, because he was just so he was addicted to them, basically. If you experienced something that was incredible, right, you might fall in that trap too, and just sit there and play back that same memory over and over if it was so wonderful. We should look at the chat.
So attaching colors to the waves of energy.
Hold on, where were we?
Dreams generate.
Well, hold on. JT Firms. We gotta go back to the JT Firms. You were saying this one. JT Firms, you said your uncle believed he was reincarnated many lifetimes, and he claimed his birthmarks were proof. Yeah, and I've heard that in different cultures. They do believe stuff like that, right? So it's not just ancient civilizations that believe that. It's present day stuff in different cultures, and you know what? Who's to say? We don't know for certain, right? I mean, that might be the case. And really, don't worry about the long text. We would much rather have a long text with someone who's thinking deeply than just a short text that says dude or something like that. All right. And lots of love. Wow, imagine attaching colors to the waves of energy dreams. Generate. Yeah, that would be amazing.
I love where your head's at,
Wow,
Lily.
Lily,
I love
you
where
are
your head's
incredible.
at.
And you know what? JT Farms, if you haven't checked out Lily's stream, she streams and she's awesome, and she has such an amazing energy. Definitely check out her stream at some point if you when you get the chance. And then let's see, JT Farms, you said what is being human? What is being human at that point?
Well,
that's a tough question, right? What do you think?
I mean, honestly, I think we're going to evolve to the next thing, and it might be part human, part machine.
Yeah, I mean,
do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I mean, no species that have ever lived here is still alive. Like, yeah. Things evolve, things change, things like to think that we as a human species are going to be here forever without evolving into the next level is like, I think.
I mean, it's the way things are going. I mean, look at Neuralink, right? Elon Musk has created this Neuralink thing, and they're helping people who are paralyzed, to develop some muscular function. And I saw this. What was the thing with the apes? There was like apes that could play Pong. Have you guys seen this? Have you seen that with the apes playing?
That's not what it is.
Yes, it was. There was a thing with apes playing Pong.
What are you talking about?
Okay, so here's the idea. They literally taught, maybe it's a chimpanzee, maybe it's an ape. I don't know the different types of monkeys out there.
Where did you see it?
Okay, this is legit. You can someone Google it right now for me.
No, I know exactly. I'm gonna say something, but where did you see it?
They taught. I saw it on YouTube at some point. I saw. Relax, jeez, you're calling me
out.
But
bonobo monkeys can play Pac-Man.
They taught them. They taught these monkeys of some sort. I don't know what type of monkeys they were. They taught them how to play Pong. And really good, like probably better than I could play, or probably not as better, maybe the same level as me. And the way they had it is they had a tube going into the monkey's mouth when they would train the monkey, and it had banana smoothie that would come into the monkey's mouth every time it actually moved the paddle up the screen and hit the ball back, right? So they got these monkeys playing Pong, right? So it would be first it started out using its hand to move the lever to move the paddle up and down, right? But then they were able to do it such that they took away the actual control of the monkey's hand off the paddle or whatever, and it could still just use its mind and get that reward of the banana smoothie without even doing anything. It was playing Pong with its mind. And if we can do that, I mean that's pretty amazing, right? That's pretty novel. Yeah, so yeah, I think we're all gonna be some kind of robot human cyborg one day. That's my personal opinion. But we'll see, right? Only time can tell. Yeah. Anyone else? Lily Lavender, you say there's a Black Mirror episode on it.
I think I saw that one.
I've never seen it. What?
You've never seen Black Mirror?
I've seen it, but I've never seen an episode about that.
I'm trying to remember. It was I've watched it a long time ago, but it was something with the memories.
Oh, cool, interesting.
And like saving memories, and this guy was like watching. I'm getting them all mixed up. Sorry. I know I've seen that one though, Lily.
Cool. And then let's see. Lily, you said thanks, guys. Haven't been streaming, but I'll get back to you soon. Yeah, we'll definitely check you out next time you stream. We always loved your streams, so we'll definitely be in there. You think the machine that helped Stephen Hawking to write a book is amazing. I don't even know about that. That sounds pretty cool. I'll have to look that up. Do you know about that?
So basically, he could. It typed it for him while he was
just thinking, or would he have to say things? I know he could move his fingers a little bit, right?
Yeah, I think it was connected to his fingers.
Somehow connected to his fingers, but he could still express whatever ideas he had via that mechanism. That's pretty cool, interesting. And then JT, you're saying you're so weary of tech, you just barely gave in to getting cell phone last year. Gonna move it hermit mode away from.
I was with you for a while. I was totally with you for a while, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of scary. I mean, if you think of the Star Trek example, I don't know if any of you are into Star Trek. The Borg, that was the ultimate collective, right? What the Borg did is they were this cyborg race that would go around and they would assimilate other cultures. So they would come to a planet. and they would basically just like take their DNA, and they would take in all the knowledge of that culture, and they would assimilate that into their own being, and then they would turn those people into more Borg. And so that was like
That's kind of awesome.
Kind of awesome, but they were destroying all uniqueness in the world too. Though you got to think about it. That's one kind.
But if we all turn into oneness, then we don't need uniqueness, do we?
It's interesting. See, Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, he was a firm believer in uniqueness. He liked the different having different cultures and differences between people, because he felt that it allowed for more creativity and stuff like that. But if everyone was just the same, do you really have as much art, different art? Are you going to have as much different differences in the world, right? So it's kind of an interesting concept. On the one hand, right, I feel like I want everything to be one, right? Because then if everyone is one, we'll get along better. We'll be more in touch with each other. We'll be able to understand what everyone's saying a lot more. But then at the same time, are you going to have that same level of creative expression if everyone is one? Brings up that's a very, very important notion, right? Think about.
I bet it would branch off again.
You think it would branch off again then? Maybe, or maybe we would just be one forever. Who knows? Let's see. You said, who is it? That human experience. You feel the differences. Yeah, that the human. Yeah. And Lily, you said Stephen Hawking used a device that uses a single channel to record waves of electrical signals in the brain. These waves change depending on the patient's thoughts and activities or possible brain dysfunction.
That's cool as heck.
Wow. Nice. Interesting. Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool. All right. Well, I'm pretty wired right now. But this is supposed to be a philosophy and
radiating off you into me.
I know. I burn really hot. Those of you, actually, no one on chat knows this. I emit a lot of heat. So like she'll probably start sweating if she sits next to me any longer. Like I just radiate heat. A lot of it I think has to do with the fact that I've just always been a high energy person to begin with, and I do hot yoga. So like I'm just always in the hot room, and I'm like sweating, and like just I'm pretty intense to begin with. This, and when we talk about,
can you tell that he's intense? Like, have you ever gotten that vibe from him? Anybody that he's a little intense?
Yeah, just a little bit sometimes, and sometimes I'm real chilled though, Sometimes.
Just kidding, you're chill.
But yeah, so sometimes I can be intense. Awesome chat, everyone. Yeah, actually, absolutely. It makes it so much more fun for us when we have wonderful people like you, like JT Farms and Lily. When we have you guys in chat, helping us out, bringing up cool concepts. It really makes this such a better experience. I'm sure, Lily, you know that from streaming. You know that if you have an engaged chat, it's like way more interesting, right? If you're sitting there by yourself, streaming, it's not as rewarding, I guess you could say. And you love today's topic. Yeah, well, we do philosophy stuff a lot. Danielle's here every Thursday, and we discuss philosophy. So check us out. And I do some philosophy stuff, typically integrated into guided meditations as well. So yeah, check it out whenever you want. All right. So, do you want to go into the meditation?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to start the guided meditation now, and that's something that I'm going to run. I run these guided meditations approximately 6 times a week, and I think part of the reason is, first of all, at Evolve Yourself TV, we want to try to help teach people meditation. That's like the main thing, because we feel meditation is a great way to help alleviate human suffering. If you can give people a tool to help them calm themselves and find peace in their lives, and that's what a worthwhile cause, right? So we do that here, and then also I think it helps me out too a lot, to do these meditations with you. It's like I'm more committed to my meditation practice if I'm here and have an obligation to the community. So thank you for being here and tuning in. So yeah, let's start this meditation.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to the floor.
Okay. So Danielle's going to go take a seat on the floor, and I'm going to Move this chair out of the way. All right. So yeah, for meditation, I'm not sure how familiar everyone here is with guided meditations, but a main thing is you want to be in a nice, comfortable position, and that's typically a seated position. So you can sit on the floor in lotus pose. You can sit with your legs crossed and your back against the wall. You can sit in a chair. I prefer the chair, but it's also because I'm streaming these days. Yeah, the main thing is that you sit in a position that's comfortable for you. And then once you're in a comfortable position, you're going to want to close your eyes. And I have a Buddhist chant that I play. It has a chime that goes off every 2 seconds, and that will help you regulate your breath count. And just kind of close your eyes and just take a few deep breaths on your own and just sit at peace. And as you're breathing, gently scan your body from the crown chakra all the way down to the root chakra and below. And notice any areas of tightness or tension that exist in your body. Some people store their stress as tension in their forehead and jaws. Some people store their tension in their neck or shoulders. It doesn't matter where you store tension and tightness. Do not judge it. Just notice that it's there and focus on your breath. Inhale through your nose, gently raising your belly. And exhale through your mouth, gently lowering your belly. And breathe in through your nose, gently raising your abdomen. And breathe out through your mouth, gently lowering your abdomen. Stay true to your breath count throughout the remainder of this meditation. Inhale through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. and breathe out through your mouth. Focus on your breath. When distracting thoughts enter your mind, gently release them and return your focus to your breath. Your life begins with your breath, and it ends with your breath. And you breathe throughout your entire life, constantly. Yet many of us don't breathe correctly and take shallow breaths when we're stressed and worn out, bringing in less oxygen into the body and making us more anxious and worried. If we take deep abdominal breaths, gently raising our bellies, we take in more oxygen and naturally calm the body. And first you calm the body, and then you calm your mind. That is the point of meditation. Inhale. And exhale, releasing all stress and anxiety from your body. Breathe in through your nose, raising your belly. And breathe out through your mouth, gently lowering your belly. Focus on your breath. When distracting thoughts enter your mind, release them. Focus on your breath. Focus on your breath. On your next inhale, visualize positive energy flowing into your body, healing and nourishing every cell in your being. And as you exhale, release all that does not serve you well. Inhale, feeling that golden light and energy nourishing every cell. And exhale, releasing all stress, anxiety, and tension from your body. Focus on your breath. As you inhale, go down deep within to the place inside of you where all is one. From that monistic perspective, you perceive all others with the same oneness that is within you. That place of oneness within you is holy, and you are divine. Stay in that place of oneness and relax into its being. Inhale. And exhale, releasing any tension that still resides in your body. Breathe in and delve deep down within that source of pure oneness. And exhale, releasing any residual tension. Stay focused on your breath. Stay focused on your breath. Breathe in, gently raising your abdomen. And breathe out, releasing any fear and any worry. Inhale, gently raising your belly. And exhale, gently lowering your belly. Your essence is love. The manifestation of that love is light. When you're in harmony with your essence, you shine radiantly into all who you encounter, and you see that love and light that exists within them. They may not even notice their own love and light shining, for it may be hidden and obscured by the dualistic lens that we wear. For in order to perceive the world, the sensory world that is, we take in data and we extrapolate and project an image of what is supposed to be real. That's what Immanuel Kant termed the phenomenal world, the world of sensory experience. And he contrasted that with the noumenal world, that is the world as things actually are in themselves. The way things would look if there were no humans. The way things would look if there was no consciousness. That is Kant's definition of the noumenal world. When we see things through the dualistic lens of phenomenal thinking, we do not perceive things correctly, for we are seeing with our ego. Our ego tells us we need to go out into the world to find happiness. The ego wants us to be afraid, it wants us to be shameful, and it wants us to feel guilty. For as long as the ego is strong, and as long as we're listening to the ego as our voice, we will never be happy, and the ego will remain a dominant force in our minds. But if we choose to delve deep within and go into the place that is oneness and pure love, the ego disappears from our minds and we hear our true voice, and we experience our true essence, which is love, extended everywhere, in every direction, eternally. Inhale. And exhale, releasing all that does not serve you. Breathe in. And breathe out, allowing yourself to be at peace. Focus on your breath. Stay true to your breath. Inhale. And exhale. Breathe in, allowing yourself to be a vessel for pure love and light. And breathe out, releasing all ego thoughts from your mind. Your essence is love. That love is manifested through light. through light, we can extend that light in any direction. And we can help others who need to remember the light that shines within them. For as long as there is only one light even, there can be no darkness. One light shines brilliantly throughout the world. Focus on your breath. Your essence is radiant love. In love, we are one. When we choose to identify with our love, we remember who we are. For by identifying with that love, we are identifying with all that is. When we identify with things in the dualistic framework that from the context of eternity is illusory, we are identifying with what is not. Eventually, space-time will collapse, and we will see things from the perspective of eternity. And from there, from that vantage point, all that exists is pure love. And we extend that love in every direction forever. And we become at peace with ourselves and with all of creation. So delve down deep now into the source of creation that exists within yourself. Realize you have everything within you that you've ever needed to be perfectly happy and content. And by understanding this, you can choose to not allow doubt to affect your thinking, such that you may be in perfect peace and harmony with life. Inhale. And exhale, releasing all tension and worry. Breathe in. And breathe out, letting go of any stress in your body. As you inhale, do a body scan and notice where you're holding your tightness and tension. And as you exhale, release those muscles, release that stress from your body. You are perfect love. Your essence is a oneness, and you have the source of creation within you for eternity. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, taking in the deepest breath of the day, filling your belly with love and light. And exhale, releasing all fear from your being. Gently open your eyes and return to the present moment, bringing with you the peace from this meditation throughout the remainder of the day. Namaste. Thank you all so much for meditating with me. This is truly a wonderful experience, and I am so grateful that you came here in this moment to improve yourself. We have an arm on the screen. We have an arm. Danielle, Dr. Danielle Johnson is here. She was meditating. Lily, you just subscribed. Thank you so much. Wait, Kittens gifted it. Aw, Kittens, man, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Kittens. Totally, totally cool. Yes, everyone who has not checked out Kitten's stream, definitely check out Kitten's stream. He's incredible. He's a martial arts instructor. He knows Tai Chi. He knows Qigong. He knows energy work, which I feel is some of the most important stuff out there. Because if you know energy work, here, hold on, let me turn off this chant right now. I feel like I'm screaming over it.
Oh my god, it's like barely even off.
For me, it's
screaming. That was a little dramatic. That was a little dramatic.
It felt like I was screaming over this. Do you want a chair or something?
No, I'm good.
Okay, all right. It feels weird. I feel like the king sitting on the throne with all right, whatever.
Yeah, I'm getting a chair then. If that's where your head's going, then yeah, I'm getting a chair.
Yeah, it just feels weird. Like I'm all centered. Let me move over a little bit. Give you some room. Okay. Basically, check out Kitten's stream. He does energy work. He knows his stuff, and he's not about bullshit. He says it like it is, and he's truthful. He's genuine, and he's just one of the most kind, compassionate people that I've ever met, and not just on Twitch, that I've ever met in real life too. Everything that he says has been so warm and welcoming. Dr. Danielle Johnson and I came onto Twitch. Okay, well, fine. I know. Danielle and I came onto Twitch a few months ago, and he was there to welcome us, basically, and it was just so nice and kind of him to bring us in, and his stream does a lot and helps a lot of people, and he's doing great with it, and it's cool. It's cool to see, it's cool to see your stream grow like it's growing, and it's gonna be do even greater things in the future. So.
And you know what we found out last night? That Kittens can play the guitar.
Oh yeah, that's yep. Like good, like
yeah. Very good. I can't wait to hear John Denver.
Yeah. By the way, yeah, Kittens, that was awesome that you pulled that out last night, man. That was a cool surprise. So we all appreciated that, man. And thank you again for that. Thank you so much for that sub. That was awesome. That the gifted sub.
It was amazing, Lily.
Really, really, really appreciated. So yeah, all right.
Yeah, Mia.
Mia.
You should see the new YouTube video of Mia eating her catnip. It's like, what can I even say about it?
Really?
She's just.
Mia's the best. Mia. Those of you who don't know, Mia is the cat that runs the Kitten's household. Mia is basically the puppet master, and Kittens is he's a subordinate to her, and and Mia just kind of tells him, how to set up the stream and what to talk about, and he just does. He follows her advice, but she never steers him wrong. So that's the important thing to remember about that. So. Yeah, definitely check out Kitten's stream and Lily's stream again when she starts streaming back up, because it's wonderful, and it's really good content.
This whole community, I just feel like is
it's
pretty amazing.
Yeah,
and
it's been a blessing.
Welcoming and
yeah, it's been a blessing. So thank you all so much. All right,
Who's gonna raid?
JT Farms, have a safe and wonderful island adventure, guys. Night all. Yeah, JT Farms, thank you so much for showing up. And it's always a pleasure to see you and to have a brilliant poet by my side. So thank you again.
I can't wait till you guys do your poetry stream.
Yes, we're gonna do a poetry stream. And JT Farms brings up an awesome point too. Danielle and I are going on an adventure, a camping adventure this weekend. I know a guy who owns a 15-acre island in the Rock River in Byron, Illinois. So we're going out there and we're going to camp out there with a bunch of friends for the weekend. So we won't be streaming, but we look forward to streaming when we get back. And maybe there's a slight chance that we'll do an island stream, but we don't get good reception out there, so it's unlikely. All right. So
who do you guys want to see? Do you want to go listen to some music and Alpha Mutation?
Yeah. Who's streaming right now? Let's see.
Allie Smalls and Mike Fitt are on, but they're both like
Mike Fitt
going crazy. Or we could go jam with Alpha Mutation.
We could do Alpha Mutation.
Anybody in the chat? What do you?
You know what though? I want to raid Mike Fitt.
It's actually Amy.
Oh, it's Amy doing her thing.
She's boxing.
She's doing the boxing thing. I mean, that's pretty cool. Well, you know what? Alpha Mutation. What does he got? He's got 3 in his chat. Let's raid Alpha Mutation. I could use some good music right now in my life.
Yeah, and he's pretty sweet.
He's cool.
Okay.
Really, you know Alchemy Mutation.
Let's go watch him, Kayla.
All right, let's do it. All right, we're gonna rate Alchemy Mutation. Send him a lot of love. He's a wonderful metal musician. I think he does groove metal, and metal's close to my heart. So thank you all again so much. Namaste.